This is Amud Yomi Gemara and Shabbos Daf. Chav Daled Amud Beis. We pick it up on the top of Chav Daled Amud Beis, and we're trying to figure out on Musaf of Rosh Chodesh and Shabbos on Chanukah. So again, we're on Chanukah, which usually doesn't have Musaf, but Rosh Chodesh has Musaf and Shabbos has Musaf. So do you add in Al Hanisim to the Rosh Chodesh Tefillah on Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh of Chanukah? So we concluded on the top line, we'll pick it up over there, of Chavdal and Beis, that we try to bring a bunch of ayahs back and forth. It says the Gemara, everything we brought that is not the halacha. El, ki adam Rav Yeshua ben Levi, Yom Kippur shechal liyos b'Shabbos, al ne'ilas arch laskel shel Shabbos. When we have Yom Kippur on Shabbos, in the Elah of Yom Kippur, we mention Shabbos in. So what do we see from there? It's the day Yom Kippur requires the Dalet Tfilos, and you add in Shabbos. So to Bayas, the day requires Rosh Chodesh because it's the day requires Musaf, because it is Rosh Chodesh, because it is Shabbos, and you'll add in Al Hanisim. Says the Gemara, very nice, but Kasha Ilsa Ilsa. We have a stira in the halacha lemaisis. Why? Like Rav Yeshua ben Levi. You just taught me that the halacha is like Rav Yeshua ben Levi, and yet they came along hilchasa kirava. But we know that the psak is like Rava. Tamar Ravi Am Toiv Shachaliyos b'Shabbos. Yontav and Shabbos shechsi b'yer lemnei ativ arvis unu davins ma'iriv. Eino yitzarich laskir shel Yontav does not mention Yontif. Does not mention Yontif. This is talking about with the Sheikh Sibur. Where's the Sheikh Sibur davening by Ma'iriv? So Magin Avos, says Rashi. So by Magin Avos, you don't mention Yontif. Why? Shalmali Shabbos ain't Shliach Sibur Yarid Yontif. So we have a stira. On Yom Kippur by Ne'ilah, we yes mention Shabbos. Seemingly the day dictates the Ilah, we add in Shabbos. On the other hand, on Friday night Shabbos of Yom Tif, we do not mention Yom Tif because it's only Shabbos. So how do we reconcile two halacha l'maisa stiras? Explains the Gemara. Hachi ashta, 10 lines down. The first word line is hasam. Hasam in Rava's case, bedinu dafilu b'Shabbos nami lo tzarich. Really, mugging avos in a vacuum is not necessary, and it's only the Rabbanan u'tetakune. The Rabbanan added on that tefillah. Mishom sakana. There was this tefillah is a special tefillah. We'll see a Rashi in a moment. Aval hacha, but by Yasin Yom Kippur, yoimush and eschayev arba tefillos. So says the Gemara, that is the psak halacha, and that's of course what we do in Musaf of Rosh Chodesh, in Musaf of Shabbos on Chanukah. We add in al hanisim. Now that we have this mention of Magen Avos, let's just take one moment. 8 lines into the narrow lines in Rashi. Rashi says that why do they say Magen Avos? Mishom Sakana, said the Gemara. Rashi explains Mazikin, that in the Gemara's times there were Mazikin, because where were the shuls? The shuls were outside of the towns. The shuls weren't within the town. And the rest of the week, Ayasukim Imlachtan. It used to be they weren't able to get to shul, so on every other night they would daven in their house. And the Chazal were concerned. And some would delay. We were worried that some are going to leave later than everyone else. They're going to be by themselves outside of the town. When you're walking by yourself at night is a problem of mazikin. So they introduced Magin Avos particularly to be mayrich, to lengthen the tefillah, says Rashi, so that even those that would come late and no one would leave early and everyone would leave at the same time, and therefore there would be no problem of mazikin. But says the Gemara, that's a din d'Rabbanan, and that's why we don't mention Yontif on Shabbos. And we continue, we're on Chavdal Amud Beis, we're about 20 lines down, the 2 dots right before the Mishnah, V'loi ba'aliyah. V'loi be'alya. This is the last type of fat you're not allowed to use. Is from the sheep's tail. And Nachum Amadei said you're allowed to use it. And the Chachamim said whether it's mevushal or not, you're not allowed to. Says the Gemara Chachamim in Tanigama. First, Tanigama says lo ba'alya. Nachum Amadei is machalik tin bishul or not. Then says the Chachamim both you cannot. That's the same thing as the Tanigama. Yikbeinau de'Rabuna Merav. V'loi misaymin. It was not clear which way it went, and therefore Ravuna Rav, which we learned, Rashi quotes, that he allowed if you put a little bit of shemen in it. Continues the Mishnah, now we're back to Hilchos Shabbos. Ein madlikin b'shemen sreifa b'yomtiv. We're not allowed to use oil, we just quoted this in yesterday's Amid, we're not allowed to use oil that must be burnt on Yontiv. Rabbi Shmuel Omer, ein madlikin be'itron, mimnei kavod Shabbos. We're not allowed to use itron due to kavod Shabbos. Chamatir mechol hashmanim, shemen shumshvim, shemen agayzim, shemen tzunaynes, sesame, nut, radish oil, shemen dagim, shemen kuais, itron, b'nei, fish, other types of oils, itron, all these oils, the Chum said is mutter. Tarvin Omer, ein madlikin ela, b'shemen zayis bilvad, which of course is going to dictate a lechatchila, like we will see. Says the Gemara, my taima. And this Mishnah, if we paid attention, began with ein malikim b'shemen sreifa. When? B'yomtiv. And we already in yesterday's Amid pointed out that the previous Mishnah seemed to be talking about Shabbos. This Mishnah seemed to be talking about Yomtiv. And the Gemara was machalik and said that this Mishnah, no, it's just explaining the previous Mishnah. So says the Gemara, what's the reason you cannot use these oils in Yomtiv? Yishein sarvin kachim b'yomtiv, because you're not allowed to burn kachim in Yomtiv, and these oils are kachim, they need to be burnt. If you're not allowed to use them for halakas neiros on Yontiv. Immediately, where do we know this rule, this klal, that you don't burn kachim in Yontiv? Amar Chizkiya, v'Yontiv v'Chizkiya, Amar Kra, v'Loisasin menu ad boiker, you should not leave over for him until the morning. V'Nois menu ad boiker, and if you do, b'Ish Tisarev, you have to burn in a fire. She'ein ta'am aleimer ad boiker, it didn't have to say the second time. It says Loisasir menu ad boiker, v'Hanois menu ad boiker. Why do you repeat the second ad boiker? Ma'atam aleimer ad boiker, because litin ba boiker shneini lisrei fasai. You have a second morning to burn the item, and the reason is, and from here the Gemara learns you can't burn on Yontif. You have a second morning, you can burn it after Yontif, of course, it was on Chazal, as is of course still true in Eretz Yisrael. You only have one day of Yontif, so you have a second morning to burn the stuff because you cannot burn it on Yontif. Abaye Amar comes like Abaye, and Abaye is the different Mekar Amar Kra Ilis Shabbos Bishabbato. 6 lines from the bottom. That Shabbos oil is burned on Shabbos, oil is chol b'Shabbos. Not allowed to burn a wheat day oil on Shabbos, oil is chol b'Yom Tov. And the third source, Rava Amar, so we had Chizkiya, we had Abaya, comes like Rava, and Rava teaches us Amar Kra, Hu levadu yasa lachem, says the pasuk that on the 15th, the Chodesh Hashvi, Baschem as Tvuas Haaretz, about Pesach, the Chag was Chag Hashem Shivas Yamim, for 7 days, v'Yom HaRishon Shabbosayin, Yom HaShmini Shabbosayin. So says the Gemara, B'Yom HaRishon Shabbosayin, Hu levadu yas lechem, that only for yourself work can be done. Who? What does that mean? V'loy machshiri, now do a hechshir melacha. Only the food preparations itself, not auxiliary food preparations. Levadai, for there we learn out v'loy mila shaloi bizmanai on Yontif or Shabbos. Ta'asiyah mekal v'chaymer, but we see that hechsher of food preparations are not allowed. Machshirei oichel nefesh, and therefore to burn the fats on Yontif would not be allowed. We stop over here, and we'll pick it up with Rav Ashi giving us another reason, almost a fourth makar, as we'll see, why you can't burn kachim on Yontif.